How else is the moving stuff going? Are you kind of getting settled in? You dreading it?
Yeah, it's because it's a bit different now because I lived in an apartment and this one's a house.
Ooh.
And
bougie.
I know.
Bougie motherfucker, this guy.
I was actually really lucky to get this house because the previous owner has gotten a job abroad. And so he was very desperate to find a tenant. So we got it at like a fucking amazing price. Because we were like, when we were looking for other places, we didn't even know if we were going to move. Because I remember talking to you guys, because you both were moving, you wanted bigger places. And I'm like, I'm actually really happy with my place.
Your place was a good size though.
Yeah, it was a good size. And I was just like, I'm only going to move if I can find like a decent enough upgrade. And we saw other places which for the budget that we set, and nothing really standing out. I was just like, whatever, maybe we'll just stay for another year. And then this was like the last house that we looked at because the estate agent was like, "Yo, we have one more on offer. That you might enjoy."
The best for last.
Yeah. We saved the best for last, and so we looked at this house, and it was like twice the size of any other place they'd shown us for the same price point. And we're like, what the fuck? There is a catch though, which is I don't know what the exact contract was called, but we only have it for a maximum of 2 years. So that was the catch.
You have to get out.
So after 2 years, we have to get out. Which is
if you're like get really settled in, you really like it.
Well, remember when we were looking for places for the Trash Taste office, one of the places we were considering, I don't know if we talked about this on camera, but one of the places we were considering was exactly the same. Like the first place we found, it was like this like 3-story house that was like, this is like looks like a perfect space. But then we found out that
we did.
It was owned by an expat who was overseas now, but he was like, I'm coming back in 2 years, so you better get the fuck out.
Oh yeah. Well, I do think this one's actually better in the end.
I think the studio is definitely better.
Definitely better in the end. But like initially when we were looking at new studios, that was one that we were like really happy with because it was like good price, good location.
Well, so in the end, what made you move there? Was it just because the location?
The house. The location was amazing. The house is fucking amazing. And I was just like, I move on average every 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
So like I'm as we just discussed,
same.
I'm not one to settle down. So
I like mixing it up, you know.
Yeah,
I like getting
changing it up.
Yeah. And as annoying as it is, like I do like it. But all that,
2 years is a long time if you think about it.
It is very long.
To me at least, 2 years is like a fucking long time, especially for YouTube.
Something exciting about upgrading a little bit as well. You're like, I've been working hard. I deserve a little bit of an upgrade. You know.
I can give myself a pat on the back.
Well, I mean, my new place is like 3 times more expensive than my old one. But that's because I didn't know how I was gonna do financially when I moved here. So I didn't want to. I didn't.
I mean, when I first moved here, I had fucking the cheapest.
You had like
a one bedroom. I had a one bedroom.
Yeah. So, same here because when I moved here, Sydney just didn't have a career yet. So it was like
I remember that. Yeah. Like you paying everything.
A lot of it was on. A lot of it was on me to like. Well, she obviously paid for it as well, but a lot of it was if
it rested on you. Right?
If Sydney falls through and her YouTube career doesn't take off, then all of this is going to fall on me. And that's why I was like, that's what I was thinking about. But now it's a lot more comfortable. We can both share the cost. So we were able to have like a bigger budget, but still not stupidly large. And we just found a really nice house.
And then Sydney's career took off, and we went stupidly large.
In my mind, I was like, because we were living so far away. Are we allowed to say where we live now? Kind of like. Are we allowed to say where we lived?
I don't want to.
You don't want to? Okay,
that's fine. Just wondering. It was.
We
far
didn't
away.
live in the center.
It was very far away. Well, not very far away. It kind of was, kind of wasn't. I also lived really far away from the station, so it felt like double damage.
Yeah. For me, I lived literally 3 minutes away from the station.
You were super close.
So I was like 5 minutes.
Joey had like a nice distance, I'd say, and then I lived like ridiculously far away. I didn't.
You were like halfway between 2 stations. I remember. Basically.
Yeah. And so I had the really annoying case of just like I'm 50-minute walk to one station, 20 minutes to the other.
Yeah.
Which like doesn't seem like a big deal, but some days when you have to go back and forth multiple times, it really fucking felt dreadful.
Yeah.
And I just got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm doing well for myself. I'm just going to spend the extra money just to get somewhere that's super close and that I can focus more on work. Don't have to worry about traveling. Like now I don't have to worry too much about. And before, I always had to plan precisely when I was leaving the house.
Yeah.
Because I had to look what the train was. I had to make sure I was getting the express train because where we were was so far away that you could get an express train that saved you quite a significant amount of time. And so normally commutes are about an hour for me.
Yeah.
Which is quite a long time. And you do have to really like think, okay, when am I leaving the house? But now I can just kind of be like, all right, I generally know what time I need to leave.
Yeah.
I kind of like the commute though, because like me currently, I'm also like just like travel distance for me, like to the office, for example, is like pretty much the same as it was before.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's not that much different time wise. It's just in a
But
different.
I always complained about it the most because for me, I definitely valued distance from like where I was going often a lot. Like
I really like the commute though for some reason because it puts my mind off of work for even just a little bit.
I liked it until a certain point because commuting here was fine. Commuting back is a fucking nightmare because I would always dread it, right? Because commuting, I don't mind staying on the train, but when it's like when you're going back after we finish filming Trash Taste. Normally, like in London, it's like the rush hour is from, let's say, 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock, right? Where like the fucking tube is packed, you're not getting a seat, and you're like a sardine. For some reason, the fucking rush hour in Tokyo starts from like 4 till like 9:30 at night, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't end.
It just doesn't end.
It goes on till midnight.
Yeah. So the commute back was just like a nightmare. I would like dread it. So I would dread the commute back every time. So it was just normally if I was in London, I would just wait out the rush hour. But in Japan, there is no waiting out the rush hour. No. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah, and it depends, right? Because like you said, you don't mind the commute. That's good. I mean, very OP for you. You can get a much bigger place. You have a much bigger place than me. So it's kind of like I don't know. I hated commuting.
Yeah.
And to me, I felt like I could spend my time better. And I did want to spend my time differently. Like streaming, right? Like an extra hour of streaming is a big difference.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that would go like a long way. So
I think for me as well, it's because like an hour commute for me now is so much better than what I first had when I first moved here.
Right.
Because when I first moved here, I lived in a place that was a 25-minute walk to the closest station.
Yeah, fuck that. No.
You know, and it was like way out of Tokyo kind of thing. So like, you know, commuting into Tokyo would be like an hour and a half, 2 hours for me.
Which is the walk, don't get me wrong, is fine. Walking is not the problem. It's walking in the summer.
Oh,
and sometimes, you know, you can't always be what you'd like. Sometimes you have to carry a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And that's where it really fucking sucks.
Which is why I'm so glad that finally I'm able to fucking wear a sweater, right?
Yeah,
it's so nice now. Like, speaking of weather though, like, where did autumn go?
Yeah.
It just was like
winter.
Here for 2 days and then it's like, all right, see ya. It just turned into winter.
It's always like that.
I'm so glad though because I can finally wear some drip.
Right,
know,
exactly.
right?
Without dripping myself. You know? It's fucking disgusting for like the middle of September. It was so gross.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just like how Japan decided that it was going to be hot until it wasn't one day. And then it just decided it wasn't to be cold.
It went from 25 to 14 in one day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's going back.
No.
But how does that happen? Weather.
Japan has 4 seasons, everybody. That's what they tell you.
No.
They don't.
It has pain for 6 months, then mild discomfort for 2, and then the rest are okay, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of cold.
The rest is fine,
yeah. It's kind of all right.